But you got them calves, brother.
I do have the calves. I do have calves.
They drive the men crazy.
Yeah, I live in West Hollywood. All the boys in West Hollywood love it.
It is amazing how like my woman loves legs on a dude. Like most girls don't. Like she goes,
They don't care.
Yeah, she's like, I liked you because of your legs. I was like, good, because I don't got much of an upper body, so that works.
Oh, you got good legs? Were you like a soccer player or something?
Nah, just boxer when I was a kid, and
shit.
We ran all the time.
I wouldn't have picked you for a boxer.
Yeah, I'll spar if you want.
No, I'm not a professional fighter.
Well, instead of like T-ball, my parents put me into boxing when I was like 6.
Really? Was your dad into it or something?
17, yeah, whole family. His dad, and it's a whole boxing lineage. Everybody boxed.
Shit.
I did Golden Gloves and stuff.
Oh, shit. How'd you do?
Did okay. I was good, and then when I got to about teenager years, they started hitting pretty hard.
Oh, yeah. Puberty really separates the men from the boys.
Yeah.
And if you're late to it, you're getting your ass kicked.
Korean knocked me out.
If you're a late
bloomer,
bloomer, you're done, dude.
Yeah. Well, Korean dude, I thought he was like 36. They said he was 16, but I think he was older.
Yeah, he was like Dominican baseball players. The birth certificate was completely made up.
Yeah.
What a dream to just show up and smoke kids for an hour.
Yeah.
Every Thursday, you just get to show up and whop.
I got back up because,
That's how I get my aggression out, by punching children.
Exactly. That's the only reason I'd want to have kids. Are we recording this? This is great. This is great. We should be recording all of this.
Absolutely.
Oh, you might want to move that mic a little bit closer.
Just right here?
Well, not just, well, don't block your face. Just put it. There you go. Perfect. A horn. All right, guys. Welcome back. Welcome to the Ready, Set, Blow podcast. Got my man Dustin Chafin. Took a while.
It took a while.
I mean,
we did it.
When you do giant arenas with Nate Bargatze, you're on the road a lot.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody talks about that, but it goes pretty quick from my regular comedy life. So it goes from private jets to Spirit Airlines pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. Well, there's really nothing more humbling than that. Like you'll do like a great show, and then you'll be doing the dime on a Tuesday here, just eating your balls. Yeah. It really keeps you in check.
Comedy humbles you pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
But no, it's been amazing. I can't complain, but I can definitely it's quite a shift. There's no middle ground.
Oh no.
It's either 18,000 or 6 people.
I was going to ask you how big are the venues?
It's probably the biggest, 18.
Holy shit! What is that even like? Does it feel like a comedy show at that point?
You know what? Once you grab the mic, it's fine.
Okay.
It's just everything up to the mic. You're like, am I gonna blow this? Am I gonna say the F word? Am I gonna because you gotta be clean, for Bargatze.
Oh, he wants people to be clean. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's crystal clean. So,
I know he is. I don't know if he makes
his whole audience. So you look out there and there's a sea of grandmas and like little kids, and so you gotta so you don't want to mess up. That's the big thing. And then just the sea of people, you're just not ready for. You feel like you're Guns N' Roses or something. Like it's just too many people for dumb jokes. It just doesn't make sense. How do I not have a guitarist next to me? Like it's just stupid. And so once you get rid of all that, and they bring you up and you grab the mic, then it just feels like a set. It really does.
Okay. And you just slow it down a little bit because it takes so
Not really. Okay. Because it's like, I don't want to get caught up in that where I'm that guy that's like waiting for the wave of laughter. I just do my set. Okay. And sometimes, some will get it quicker than others, but it's, once you grab it and you go, you're in it. Yeah. You get one laugh.
Dude, I haven't heard your clean set. I heard the shit you do around town, which I love.
Yeah,
obviously.
So it took a lot.
I'm like,
you have
like a whole other act that I don't even know.
It's a lot of it's the same act, but it's just like
you drop the F-bombs out of it.
Taking the F-bombs out, taking the sex stuff out, and just trying to find more, lighter personal things, and not making it so so the blacks, trying to take out.
Is that how his audience is like? I know he lives in Nashville. Jesus Christ!
You got to hear my first album, but
it's called So the Blacks.
Yeah, pretty much. But you just take, and he's cool because he's a real he's like us. He's not like this diva comic.
I got to hang out with him in Arizona when
I
he's first started.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a regular dude, regular comic, paid his dues, New York guy. I'm a New York guy. So it's like, he doesn't mind if you're edgy. You just got to be conscious of the audience.
Keep it within bounds.
Keep it as clean as you can. I mean, always clean, but you can be edgy is what I'm saying. Yeah. I talk about being a drug addict and all that stuff. So you can go down a road that's dark. You just can't,
keep the swearing and the sex out. I think it's kind of...
Yeah. Like, there's going to be some
necrophilia is not a good topic for...
I learned my lesson on that one. But... I got on probation for that show. But yeah, I mean, but that's our instinct. Like I'm like you. I'm a troublemaker.
Yeah.
I like to push the button. I like to cause problems, and I like that tension.
Yeah.
Like you and I are similar in that sense. Where it's like you push the envelope.
Yeah, I like being a little
bringing
piggy
it back.
in the mud. You know, so it's like,
Yeah,
hey,
like you'll say stuff out of nowhere, and then the audience will be like, "What is happening? Why aren't we down this ass material? What's going on?" It's like, so I'm looking at ass. I'm looking at ass for 20 minutes, and then it's like, but I like comedy like that because I grew up on like Def Jam. And
nice.
so I love any sort of like crazy comedy. Like BET, all the black comics are what raised me comically.
Yeah, same in many ways.
I loved it.
George Carlin was the first guy I saw, but
Yeah.
every whatever it was Friday night, watch Def Comedy Jam religiously.
Yeah, George is
BET's
like
Comic View.
Yeah, all this stuff was great.
Yeah,
because they taught you how to perform.
Yeah.
Because if you watch, like, even at the Improv, you won't know how to perform. But if you watch BET Comic View, you'll figure out how to crush an audience.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing about, I feel like black audience and a lot of black comics, like that's an event. They're not there for you to fuck around. They want you to bring the hammers. They don't want any pondering this. No. You better be hammering them with jokes.
Well, first of all,
they didn't get dressed up and go all the fuck down to the comedy club for you to waste their time.
They didn't put on a white top hat, to just have you just work it out.
Yeah, to stand on stage and go, what else? Nothing else. Fucking tell a joke.
What do you want to talk about? Yeah, none of that's happening in a black audience.
Yeah.
Well, my first TV thing was Showtime, White Boys in the Hood.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And you would do well at that. I mean,
you couldn't do it now.
No.
Like, they would shut that down. Like, on the way to the
name
stage.
Of it sounds,
on the way to the stage, you get canceled.
Just the name of it sounds like the January 6th March.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was white comics doing black jokes in front of, like, black crowds. And so it was like, because some of us were like, we came up through like Uptown Comedy and all that stuff in New York. So it's like, we just knew how to work those crowds. And so it was kind of the M&Ms of comedy. So it was like.
Where are you from originally?
Texas, born and raised.
That's right.
And then New York over 20 years comedy.
When did you get to, how old were you when you got to New York?
Late 20s. Went there for college.
Okay. I don't know if you started in Texas and then.
No. I went to New York for college and then ended up just, pushing a broom at a comedy club, and the next thing you know,
that's how you got into it. Just
bus boying at a comedy club.
A part-time job turns
into
pretty much a passion, huh?
Or it's like I could do that.
Yeah,
hold my
I worked
broom.
at the mall, so now I'm gonna get myself a kiosk. I think I'm gonna make a real lifetime out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ended up that way. Yeah, it was just kind of ended up in it, and then just fell in love with it. I always liked it, Carlin and Kennison and all those guys. That was like. I enjoyed comedy the same way I enjoy music. Like we had like comedy albums at the house when I was a kid. And,
nice.
Cheech and Chong and all that stuff. So it's like all, comedy was an art form to me. You know? Whereas some people, they didn't grow up with it like that.
Yeah, I still, it's weird, like, when people say, like you're creative, I'm like, I'm just talking shit. Like, it doesn't feel like when you look at, when I look at like a band or a musician, and they're like, playing a guitar, like, it's like, all right, that's like a real art form. Or painting. I'm like, I'm just fucking running my yak.
But
I feel like it's technically art, but it's not at that level. Like, you don't have to learn how to read sheet music to do it. But you ask somebody who's like a layperson, you're like, oh no, you can't just fucking rock up there. Like, oh, I'm funny, I'll go up there. No, you won't. You'll fucking die a slow death up there on stage.
Oh yeah, it's a pure art form. They just screw it up where they make the audience drink.
Yes.
They allow people to disrupt it.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes
they can
something.
touch you on stage. Like at what other event? Like, you can't get within a fucking, within an arm's length of Jay-Z anywhere.
Yeah.
But
I touched your calves before we got into this. Like, everybody can touch us.
Yeah.
We're that accessible.
Yeah.
It is weird. I mean, I've been in a fist fight on stage. Like,
no shit.
I was drunk. I was doing shots.
Were you drunk or was the guy drunk?
I think everybody was drunk.
Okay.
And I was doing shots with Brian Regan at another club. That guy
killer.
can drink.
Oh,
he can. He's a killer, but he can drink. Like, and he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And I'm a small dude, so it's like us small dudes try to drink like the big dudes, and we get in trouble.
Yeah, he's like 6'3", 240 pounds.
Yeah. So it's like I just got too drunk, and then somebody was like messing with me on stage, and I was like, "Shut up, faggot!" And then
who won?
Next thing you know, well. I had a big Harley watch on, and he went to hit me, and the boxing thing kind of came in, and I went up, and so he hit in shattered my watch, but I think it messed
broke
up
his hand.
Yeah, it messed up his hand.
Yeah.
So he's like kind of dangling, and then he goes for another one. Then the best thing about comedy is you got that mic stand.
I was gonna say that was my first thing.
Bass on it.
The heavy metal end.
You could kill somebody with that.
Yeah, club him.
So I kind of lifted up for the bass. I was like, "Come on," and then he kind of ran out of the club.
I mean, it's happened dozens of times. Jim Jeffries famously got fucking punched in the head.
Yeah, I got hit like right here. Yeah. Of course, I had a cowboy hat on. It flies off like a cartoon. You know?
Yeah, but I thought
Where's my hat?
If someone comes in and fucks with me, that mic stand's getting swung fast.
Yeah,
the stool, something.
I've had a couple, and that was the first like a guy actually hit me. But I've had moments where they charged the stage, and I had to kind of pick up the mic. But that's the thing that doesn't happen in a play. Yeah, you know, nobody's like.
And of course, there's no security to speak of at any club.
No, never. I mean sometimes the good clubs will have security on the weekends or something. But during the week on a Tuesday, and there's 20 people, you're on your own.
Yeah, it's wild though. Like. Talking about it being like an art form, like now that I do it, I can see the difference of making it seem like it's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like people are like, oh, you seem so comfortable with this. Like, yeah, well, I've worked on this. It seems fluid because I've been practicing for years now.
Yeah, and sometimes you're more of an artist. And sometimes you're more just messing around.
Yeah.
And so it really depends. Like I've had sets where it's like tight and the structure's amazing. People are like, oh, that's like Carlin or what? Like they'll say,
you say
great
something
things
real clever.
Yeah. And then there's nights I'm like, shut up, stupid. And you're playing with somebody. Look at that shirt. What are you doing? And then you're just kind of messing around. And that's, I mean, there's a craft to that. And I feel like a lot of people think crowd work's easier than it is, or they think like getting that energy going.
That's the problem with this fucking social media thing. Everyone's it's like those are the best clips from all the crowd work they've done, every night. Like,
well, some comics are amazing at it, and some are not.
Yeah,
but they think
Ian Bagg or
Ian Bagg is great. Rife is good.
Rife is great.
Yeah, it's like there's certain people you're pretty good at it. Like it's like we can all kind of tap into it.
Yeah,
and it's like you usually get a girl mad, and then you do some crowd work with her.
Always. I mean, my whole act is trashing me and trashing women. Those are the two subjects. If you want to know what I talk about, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit, and women are worse.
But
essentially the thrust of my act.
Yeah, but that's the kicker, though, is like you put it on yourself.
Yeah.
Like you, I mean,
I'm always the butt of the joke.
Yeah, which is great, and so that way you're endearing to the crowd. Where it's like some guys are just trashing women, and they're not going at themselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's when you get in trouble.
I feel like the stuff that, well, one you. The easiest stuff to write is like the topics you find yourself, you personally find funny.
Sure.
So, like if somebody say, "Hey, write a joke about pots and pans," like I don't fucking, that's not my thing.
If they're paying you,
if they're paying me, I figure it out. Yeah. But like when I'm coming up with new material, it's just whatever's on my mind.
Yeah.
But I feel like it really converges when I'm like, oh, we all went through that. Your parents divorced, you had a bad breakup, things that are universal like that. It's like, you fucking, you fell in love with someone, they broke your heart, whatever it is,
relatable stuff.
Yeah, relatable stuff. And if you can make that stuff funny, it's like, especially the stuff that like people don't generally talk about publicly, like the humiliating stuff that happens to you. I've said it before, like the funniest things it's when things go wrong. Like when things go well, like if you win a fight, that's not funny.
Yeah.
If you get your ass kicked, that could be funny.
Absolutely.
Like when it goes south.
Unless you beat up like an old lady or something.
Yeah,
then
or
it's
punching
funny.
kids like your workout.
That became my workout. I boxed as a child. I fought children.
He still fights children.
I still fight children. Especially these days, you have to. They're trying to take over. Old people and little kids are taking over the world.
It's so weird. Yeah, like fucking that is. It's one of my biggest problems. I don't
have children.
Me neither. No kids, and I feel like you're marginalized when you don't have them. At our age, I mean, I'm over 40.
I'm around there. Yeah,
I just don't. It's like, the fucking J.D. Vance was talking about, fucking cat ladies around the country. It's like just because I don't have kids doesn't mean I'm not a human. Like you're not more important because you added a body to
yeah, that's
traffic.
the dumbest thing. That guy should have never said that. Because what about these soldiers that are out there that don't have kids? They don't have steak.
What about women that have
well, there's that. Yeah,
OBGYN problems. They want to have kids and they can't.
Yeah, well, there's definitely that.
That's really fucked up.
But to say we don't have a steak and you're out there on the line with a machine gun, it's like, all right, what about that dude?
Yeah, what about that 19-year-old kid who doesn't have a wife is eating important or not.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just a weird thing. It's like, and then it's like, and I don't think everybody should be a parent. I've seen there's a lot of parents where I'm like, you should have opted out.
Yes,
you should have opted out of that. That's not your thing.
I think that is really the driving force of the general problem we're in. For fucking 100 years, the people who should be having kids aren't because they're too busy, running the country, getting an education, whatever else. And the morons who should not be breeding are outbreeding them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, it's too many. And we're always going to have enough people. Like, we're not going to
too many people.
Yeah. Like how many gay people we have, and we still have a population. Like, we're always going to have people.
Yeah,
we're always
somewhere 10 to 15% of the population is gay, and we have no problem with people.
We got plenty of people. Like, there's going to be plenty of people that pump out kids. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be you. And, it's just a weird time.
How old, when did you, figure that out, that you were like, kids aren't for me?
I mean, I've always looked at my family, and they're pretty messed up, and so I always felt like I didn't want to pass on that DNA.
Yeah,
because I'm either going to have
you want to break
genius,
the cycle by just.
I'm either going to have a genius or a serial killer. It's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be anything in the middle. So, I don't know. My girl doesn't want to have kids, and I don't want to have kids, and we got 2 dogs, and we're happy.
Yeah, that's great.
Like, we get to travel, we do comedy, we pop the dogs in the car. We're good.
Shout out Leah Bonham.
It's the same thing. Leah Bonham, a great comic. Yeah. It's like, but we get to have a life that's just as fulfilling for us. So, like, people are like, I have kids, and you won't know what it's like.
You don't know what life is. You don't know what love is. Like, man, shut up.
Dude, my dog has health care, has a babysitter, has a wardrobe. You don't tell me I don't know what it's like to have a kid.
I claim him on my taxes every year. I get the same thing.
That dog costs me just as much as any kid, man. So it's like, I'm okay. I get that fulfillment without having it. And I like dogs better than kids. So
I like dogs better than every person on the earth.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. They're great.
I actually thought about the same thing. I was like, you don't want to pass on that, the cycle. You don't want the cycle to repeat.
I mean,
but I also want, am I going to put a complex on a kid if I have it? Because you think you'll be a good. You think I won't do what my parents did, but you don't know.
Yeah. I mean. Well, the hardest thing is just the pressure. It was like, because we look at our family and like our dads weren't around and stuff, and you're like, yeah, they were stressing about money, dude. That's why they weren't around.
Yeah.
They
were working.
A lot of them were. Yeah. They were out there trying to just raise 3 kids or whatever. So it's like, I know how stressed I get about money. So I can't imagine having to if my dogs die, nobody's going to know about it. I'll just be like, whatever. They ran away.
Yeah,
but if a kid's missing.
Go down the shelf to get a new one. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm a bad parent.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm neglectful.
Yeah.
If the kid turns
I could drop my dog off at a rescue, but I can't drop a kid off. I mean, I could, but so it's like
rescue.
Yeah, there's a kid
put
rescue.
Over at the deposit box.
But you don't know what you're gonna be like in that stress, and then it's like my parents, they probably didn't go about it the right way, but I turned out okay. And you can change the cycle. I'm almost half kidding about the DNA stuff because I'm sure I'd be a decent parent, but I don't care. Just because I'd be a decent parent doesn't mean I need or want to have kids.
Yeah, it's funny because for me, it never occurred to me. Like, the idea of having a family. All I wanted as a kid was to get out of New York City. That's the only thing I ever thought about. I was like, the world is bigger than the streets of Queens. And I wasn't like, when I get married and my kid, that was never fantasy in my head. It was just leaving New York.
Well, I went through a weird religious phase, and then it was like...
How old were you?
I was high school. I met this Mormon chick.
A Mormon in Texas? Really?
Yeah.
Holy
this
shit.
Mormon chick in high school.
Talk about a minority.
Yeah. She was hot. She was like blonde and hot. And so it was just like, I eventually went down that Mormon road for like 6 years. I went on a mission.
Shit. You went on a mission?
I had the tag and the bicycle. I did the whole thing.
And the short sleeve white shirt?
Absolutely. With the tie and everything. Crew cut, everything. And
wait, you didn't convert, but you went on the mission?
No, I converted. You can't just go on a mission. You got to
convert. You're technically a Mormon?
No, I mean, I got pretty much kicked out. But that was
they kick you out? They excommunicate you?
Yeah, I think they really liked me, but so I think
got a lot of converts that really like me. My numbers are good.
I think my files on somewhere on a shelf somewhere where they might try to get me back in, but I'm done. I mean, I'm personally out. And then
did you marry this woman or no?
No.
Okay.
She
was so hot you converted for her.
Yeah, and it was just like kind of one of those things where we broke up. We had sex and stuff, which she felt guilty about. And then it's like, then she didn't want to be with me because I wasn't Mormon. And so then I think to spite her, I became super Mormon.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I'll show you. And then the next thing you know, I'm in South America speaking Spanish.
Is this like right after high school?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Right after. Well, yeah, it was right after high school. And so during that whole thing, I got engaged with a girl. I went to BYU, Idaho, and tried to find a fiance and all that stuff. And I kind of found a girl, and I thought I was going to do that.
Yeah.
And then it was just like that whole kind of like, have a kid in a minivan. Like there was a blur.
moment in time.
There was a short moment in time, and then I got to New York City. Went to art school in Manhattan.
Yeah. Very different than than a Mormon school in Idaho.
A lot of loose European chicks, just like, so the energy kind of was starting to kind of change. And I never was like with the doctrine and stuff. I was kind of like, I'm not sure if this is real or not, but I'll just go with it. And then, I tried to stay Mormon as long as I could. And then I just ended up being with girls and stuff. And I had to tell them. And so I wasn't going to pretend.
You have to tell them? You can't just say I'm moving and never mind?
Nah, you got to kind of be like, well, they check in on you.
Really?
They check in because it's like you got to be like.
I'll tell you, who doesn't check in. I was raised Catholic. The priests don't call me up. Hey,
but you're supposed to check in. You're supposed to do your confessionals and stuff.
I know, and
you're supposed to.
I gave it all
it's
up.
more on you.
I know. Yeah.
Where with the Mormons, it's a little more regulated, but technically
Yes.
good Catholic's supposed to check it.
Every week I got a confession.
Yeah, you got to let them know.
Tell a creepy guy in a phone booth all my secrets.
Some comic touched my calves. I enjoyed it. You gotta share these things.
I got a little chub. It was weird. It was really.
You gotta share those things. So then once I became a comic, forget it. It was like you're drinking back what you deserve to be paid, and you're just going wild. And I think that's kind of why I'm sober now. Is I just went crazy. Made up for lost time.
Okay.
You
had like a 6-year block where you were squeaky
I was like
clean.
my late 20s, and I was making up for my early 20s. And
So you were Mormon for like your mid 20s.
Yeah, for like 20, like 19 to like 26 or 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like once I, kind of forgot all that, and then I just kind of went wild. I had a great time.
Damn, you
enjoyed it.
It sounds like you've lived like fucking 100 lives already.
Yeah, but
you were a boxer and then a Mormon and then a comic.
Yeah, I'm a fighter pilot. Whatever you want me to be.
Very big shifts. Like something like I used to work in retail, but now I work in the corporate world. It's like no, but that's like a normal transition.
Oh, I guess.
You're like, hey, I was
like, what?
I was a boxer in Texas.
I worked in retail.
Then I became a Mormon in Idaho, and now I'm a comic in New York.
Urban Outfitters.
Yeah,
I did. It's like folding skate shirts. Yeah. But
you're way too stylish to be working at Urban Outfitters.
It's pretty cool clothes. When you're 20, they're cool. They're just not cool now.
Yeah. How do I pull off a cool look like this, man? I can't do this shit.
You can. First of all, you're in shape, so it's like you can pull off stuff. You just gotta
I feel like it's t-shirt and jeans for me, man.
But that's okay. That's your look.
Yeah, it is my look. But all right. Here's an example. Like
you
I
do
can
it
never
every
wear
once.
suspenders.
Who wants to wear suspenders?
Well, like with a suit, like a
dude. Only like a model looks good in suspenders. Maybe a boy Jeff Dye. Maybe like a few good-looking dudes. Yeah. That's it.
I couldn't pull off that hat or those shades.
I bet you could.
Hell no.
If you after a couple of shots, you could.
I'm sure no one else is thinking about what I'm wearing. I feel self-conscious about what I'm wearing.
Not after a couple of shots. You'd be like, woo!
Yeah.
Margaritaville, baby! And you just kind of go in. Man. It's, if you got the swag, you got the swag.
Yeah. When did you get to LA?
About 3 years ago.
I was going to say, I think
just
after me.
I'm still fresh.
I feel like I met you in New York, and then you moved out here.
Where did I meet you in New York?
I think Stand Up New York or something like that. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
I remember you.
John
introduced
us.
A brief thing, Yeah. I mean, we like it. We like it out here. I like it. I don't miss New York.
You gonna stay here for a bit, you think?
Yeah. It's either here or somewhere crazy. I mean, I have some opportunities that might end up in Nashville or something, so I might end up other places, but I always want to have a place here.
Yeah. I mean, that I feel like that's the real goal, man, to be big enough in comedy that you can live what the fuck you want.
Trying to get like a writing job or something. But it's like, if that works out, then maybe but I would always want to have a place in LA.
Yeah. I mean, it's a funny thing. Like, you go to some of these red states, like, where are you guys from? Like, I'm from New York, but I live in LA. Oh man, what a shithole. It's like, have you been? No. I'm like, what the
yeah.
Like there's some bad parts about it. But I mean, the weather, it really washes away a lot of sins.
Yeah.
There's
bad parts everywhere. Like, that's the thing. Like, these people are like, LA's crazy. I don't know how you do it with all the people. I go, yeah, well, I've been in your town, and try going to that Walmart at 3 a.m. and tell me how those people are. Yeah. Like, it's like there's crazy people everywhere.
But I'm guilty of the same thing. Like, we did some shows in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm like, what up? It's probably going to be a shithole.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, let's just park that idea. Like, go and enjoy it, and enjoy it for what it's for. You know what I'm saying? Like, people come to L.A., like New Yorkers come
Yeah.
to L.A. like, oh, man, the pizza here sucks. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking L.A. Get Mexican food. You know what I'm saying? You don't go to...
Go to Apollonia's. It's just as good as New York.
Yeah, well,
I mean, there's places you can go.
You don't go to Japan looking for pasta. So why would you come to L.A. looking for New York food? Like do what that area does. Like, when I'm in the South, barbecue.
Yeah. No,
but
I'm telling you, you can find just as good a New York stuff here. I'm just saying,
you
just got to look.
One of the great ones, with great pizza spots right around the corner, man. New York style slice.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you could just people are just like, what, you went to Joe's over by the store, and then that's it. You know, and you're like, oh, it's not as good as New York Joe's.
You had one bad slice of pizza, now the whole fucking place sucks.
Yeah, it's like people don't explore enough. But that's the thing. I was thinking the other day. I was like, first of all, I'm friends with Republicans, Democrats, trans, gay, black, Asian. Because, and then I did a joke where that was my green room on Thursday.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
so it's like, that's what I feel like. Comics are so more well-rounded than everybody else because we travel.
You have to be.
We travel.
You see everybody.
We go to Alabama.
You have to be funny to those people. Like, you have to get in their mindset.
We go to
San
San Francisco.
Yeah.
We go to Dallas. We go everywhere. So I think just the idea of how much we travel and how much we're around each other and we're not like each other, but we end up becoming friendly is like huge.
Yeah.
And we're deeper than most people.
Well, because most people don't get to get out of their little fucking 10-mile radius.
You got to travel.
You know? I mean,
you got to
really
see
important.
the world.
And you realize right away that people are just people everywhere. Like like the same base needs, right? Yeah. Everyone wants just to have a job, someone they love, some friends, and to be left the fuck alone. Yeah. I mean, like, that's basically the four things anyone wants.
Absolutely.
And everyone and that's in Thailand they have the same the same drives. So like this idea that they're like that. I'm like, no, they're like us. Like, they just vote differently. They're exactly like you. They just vote differently.
Yeah. And just because and usually it's because their parents voted that way.
Yes.
Because the location.
I'm Catholic because my parents were, not because I chose it.
I'm a drug addict because my parents were. So it's like, it's like whatever you see, you become. It's like what it is.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like, but you have to travel, man. You got to see the country. Because it's like, but that's the thing. That's the thing about like California. It's like, you go to Huntington Beach. It's just like Alabama, like,
oh yeah.
I mean,
drive 1 hour into the Central Valley and you might as well be in West Texas.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, people don't know, but I like LA. Yeah. I like it better than New York because I feel it's the space,
Well, you did your time. You said 20 years?
Yeah, probably more than that, but about 20-something years. And but I love New York for what it was.
That's a solid.
But when
tour.
I got to New York, it was badass.
It
was badass.
So I was born in '83, so I grew up through the Dinkin years in Queens, Ridgewood.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah. Now it all makes sense, huh? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, but I can't. But the 80s,
the 80s and 90s,
the 80s in New York is
gritty.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I visited it in New York in the 80s, and that's why I wanted to move there.
When did you get in?
I got in the late 90s, and I enjoyed. CBGB's was still there, Continental, like all the music stuff, like St. Mark's was raw and punk rock, and all that stuff was there.
Was it the park by the cellar where they're just dealing drugs in an open
air
market?
Washington Square Park.
There were still hookers walking the stroll. Like just walking the track.
Times Square.
Oh my God!
It was like I was waiting for Robert De Niro to show up in a mohawk, in his taxi. Like that's what it was like, and it was like, and I love that. But I feel like it's changed over the years. It's definitely, especially now, it's like
for sure.
So I don't miss that.
But 20 years in, I mean, I think you're not a native New Yorker, but you're a New Yorker.
Yeah,
you spent the formative years of your life.
Dude, I saw Cats on Broadway. I've done it. I've done it all.
Before they ended it, the 45-year run that it was on, whatever the fuck it was.
No. I saw it with my dad. It was great. But but it's like I enjoyed all of it, and then now it's L.A. and L.A.'s cool, man. I mean, it's definitely got its problems.
Nowhere's perfect.
Yeah,
dude, I went to Atlanta about a month ago, and people talk about the traffic out here. It's fucking unreal.
Oh yeah,
how bad it was. And it's worse in LA. I'm like, no, it's not. I told everyone in Atlanta, I'm like, this is worse than Mexico City. It's outrageous how bad your traffic is.
And then people talk about the homeless. Like, go to Austin, dude, on a Saturday. Go under that bridge and tell me how it is.
Dude, I know. I was there in March, and I was like, fucking hell. They took half the comics and half the homeless.
Yeah. And the thing is, this is what I respect about LA homeless. They don't bother you that much. They don't come up and panhandle you.
They have tents and shit. They're in little huts.
Yeah, whatever. You walk by that, but they're not coming up to you.
But you remember the
New York, they come up to you.
New York homeless, I mean, those are the Walking Dead. Like, the homeless here have cell phones and tents. In New York, they
got more talent in New York.
Oh yeah,
they're singing and dancing.
More talent, no pants. I saw.
That's your new show.
Yeah.
More talent, no pants. Your first contestant.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've watched a homeless man shit on a subway car. In
New York?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen a homeless person in LA shit in my car. You know?
Yeah, but that's the thing is like most of the graphic, crazy stuff you would see in New York could be on the subway. So you're like you can't escape. Like you're in a tunnel. You're in this, or at least in L.A. You see something crazy. Usually in your car, you just keep driving.
Driving by, just look at that wild thing. Roll the windows up.
Yeah. Lock the doors, and that's it. You're gone. So
but I think it's part of the charm of New York, though, man. Because we were talking about traveling, getting to see the world.
Yeah.
In New York, dude, there'll be billionaires on the subway and the most destitute people on earth also on the subway.
Yeah, I saw John Lithgow was on the subway.
It kind of shrinks the space between the haves and the have-nots because it's just the most efficient way to get around. So you have to rub and just the size and constraints. You have to rub elbows. I mean, there are places you can go.
Yeah.
But like to be a normal New Yorker, like you get a cup of coffee at a bodega and you get on the subway. Everyone's done it. It's like a communal thing almost. Like you have to suffer the subway sometimes.
And I go back like 2 weeks. I go once a year for like 2 weeks. I'll just go back and
do a run.
I'll do like Long Island, Governors, and then
I haven't done Governors. I would love to do
and then
Governors.
I'll do a bunch of city spots. And but that, I mean, for comedy, it's amazing. Because you can get up like 4 or 5 times a night.
Oh, more than that. I think if you really want to do it, you can do a show every hour from 3 p.m. till 3 a.m. if you really want to fucking drive yourself.
I mean, I don't know about those 3 p.m. shows, but you can get up.
I mean, you can do it. It's not going to be any good. I'm not talking about quality here, Dustin.
Yeah. But that's I miss that sometimes, and that's what I'll do. Yeah. Because LA is obviously it's not that like you can't drive from Burbank.
Yeah, if you're doing 2 shows a night, you're really fucking digging it.
Yeah, I've done like 3, and I felt like I was George Carlin or something.
Yeah, you're a taxi driver driving all the fucking time.
Yeah, but it's but it has other other things that are great here.
Have you done I'm sure he's done international. Have you done toured internationally with Nate?
No, I have not. But I've done like 13 USO tours.
Oh,
so
dude,
I've been all over the world.
I want to do those so bad.
Yeah, I've been I was in Iraq. He opened for me at some USO tours and stuff. And so
we'll talk after the show. I want to get. I'm dying to go perform for the troops.
Yeah, it's been a while because it's like we need.
I want to wear the helmet and the flag. I want to get shot at to go tell jokes.
Yeah. Well, you need a good war just so we can get more work as comics.
We're getting close.
Yeah, we got a couple. We got brewing a few. We got Ukraine, we got Israel, we got a few things on the hopper here.
Yeah, you just got
Maduro's talking shit. He wants to fight Elon Musk.
But you also got to get U.S. troops stationed. That's
I don't want. Yeah, please don't tell them. Please let them stay home.
I mean, people are like weapons of mass destruction. I was like, well, I did a lot of work in Iraq, so I was okay with it. That fake war got me a lot of money.
That fake war got me through the early 2000s.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where Nate and I were. We were in Iraq.
So you just met him performing in New York?
In New York, yeah. It was just like, I took care of him. He was that's why I always tell people, it's like, we're a band of brothers and sisters. Like, you got to take care of people. You never know. Because our whole thing was like, whoever makes it pulls up the other guy.
I do think there's a community aspect to this thing.
And there has to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be like.
You don't know who's going to pop.
It's got to be a camaraderie. You always take care of each other because you just never know. And he's one of the guys that kind of like he understood that, and we all kind of took care of each other. And so he was just like one of those guys who was in New York that I was good to, and then he ended up going places and taking me with him, and it's great. It's good, but that's how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said I can't wait to get rich so I can grossly overpay my friends.
Yeah,
yeah. Mike, I'm gonna keep the lights on in second floor studios for Mike Nell.
No, that's how it should be. Yeah. Get a jacuzzi in here, make it right. Yeah.
So, do you are you looking to get on TV, or what's the ultimate goal here?
Of course we are. We're comics, dude. We're always looking to get on something.
No, because I'm always curious because because people ask me what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to work 40 weekends a year, and I want to do if I happen to get TV. But you're so fashion forward, so fucking seasoned. Do you want to host shit? What's the thing here?
I got some writing things I'm working on, and so it's like I got a horror film.
You're a fantastic writer.
I got a horror film I want to get produced and made.
You see,
and it's moving along pretty good.
I'm the only comic I know that has no talent. Like, every comic I know can play an
talent.
instrument, write a movie.
You're doing this. This is like, but that's the thing. Maybe you're more like a host dude. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we need more of those. You know, we need people that can like have a freaking conversation.
Yeah.
Knows how to interview and talk to a person. Not everybody knows how to do that. You know?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like everybody has their lane. You know, I see like Kevin Brennan or Neil Brennan. I've seen he has some podcasts. I'm like, you just stick to writing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Thank God Seinfeld's on because you're not doing anything. But that's the thing is, it's like I think everybody has something. You know,
Yeah. Horror movies. That's the thing.
Well, I have that,
yeah.
and I have a series I want to do, and I have other things I'm working on, and but I'm open to whatever. I'm not much of an actor guy. I'm not much of a.
I feel like if I focus on the 2 or 3 things I want to do, stand up, doing the road, and doing this podcast, other things will come. Like, oh, that's interesting. I'll try that.
Yeah, and
like voiceover work. People are like, hey, you got a great voice. Do voice. I'm like, I'll try that.
Yeah, I want to do more. Like I just did a dry bar special. I want to do a more serious special coming up next year. That's more kind of biographical and stuff, and just do something bigger and towards that. And people are going to produce it and make it a big special. That's what I want to do. I just want to keep producing content.
Yeah.
Hopefully, one of these bigger projects will pop, and then it's like, that's all I want to do.
So how long you been in it now? 20-some years?
Yeah, something like that. It's all blur,
It's all
I
mushed
drank
together.
most of it away. But now we're coming up on the stretch where it's good. But it's like but I always say it's like it's not how long you've been doing it. It's like how right you've been doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of people. I mean, you could go to an open mic right now. There'll be some 30-year vet or something, and you'll be like, it's like he's still kind of doing open mic comedy.
Yeah.
Like if you're not associating yourself with the right people, and that's what I always say. Like you do a good job with it. Like you have to surround yourself with people that are doing good shit, and so you get to kind of like get inspired by it. If you're not hanging out with somebody that's not inspiring you, you're in the wrong group.
I think it's what I like hang my hat on with friends of mine. It's like a curiosity. Like they want to get better. They like doing it.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of 2 parts. I remember a good buddy of mine who's a great comic out of Boston, Corey Rodriguez. I started I was probably like fucking 2 months in.
Yeah.
I got like my first book show, whatever. I'm like, oh, it's fucking exciting. I want to try to get this. He was driving me back from a gig. He's like, yeah, man, that's all great, Randy, but are you still having fun? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you still enjoy it? I'm like, yeah, I fucking love it. He's like, well, hold on to that because that'll keep you going.
Yeah, you have to have enthusiasm.
You have to have fun with it. Yeah. And what you said for me, like, I feel like I'm still getting a little bit, 0.5% better every time I do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as long as I'm getting better, like, I don't have to be the biggest guy in the world tomorrow, but as long as I'm getting better and I still like doing it, I'm going to keep going. That's kind of the rule for me, and that goes across anything I do in life. Like if I like doing it and I'm getting better at it, I'll keep going.
But some people are meant to be comics. Look at you, like you're just like you're from Queens.
So I'm unemployable. What you're saying is I'm unemployable. Look at you. Who the fuck would hire you?
Yeah, pretty. Look at me. That's what I'm saying. Look at this dude. Like that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, what else are we gonna do? What else are we gonna?
I don't fit in anywhere else.
What else are we gonna do? Are we gonna go give our resume to somebody? Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's a group of misfits.
Yeah, the land of misfit toys.
Yes.
That's what I say.
Yeah. And so we're drawn to this because we can just kind of like do what we want to do, dress the way we want to dress, talk the way we want to talk. Do what we want to do.
I feel like it's the most honest profession you can get if you can get it.
Yeah.
Because, in fact, to be super successful at it, you have to be on it. You have to be genuine in a certain way. Like, it has to be, the comedy you give out has to be a little piece of you because people won't connect otherwise.
Yeah, and the problem with most of you guys, and I say you guys meaning like just different guys in comedy, where everybody just looks at the top.
Yeah.
And they don't look at like the vice principal money. Yes. They don't look at like, because I'm vice principal money. And it's like, I've been able to stay in this a long time. Never had to have a job where it was like that I had a stupid boss.
That is the key. That is the key to freedom right there.
Yeah. I never had to have some dude look over my, my wall of my cubicle.
With his
what's
fucking
up,
mug.
buddy?
Yeah.
I've never had to have that.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you have to be creative. You got to be willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
And so you got to be like, take a crappy gig. You got to be willing if it's like maybe I'll coach, maybe I'll produce a show.
I wrote for a real estate company because like, hey, we like your memes. Can you write some real estate memes? And I'm like, how much?
Yeah.
I'm like, for that much? Yeah, I can write whatever you want.
And you're great online.
Yeah.
And so we all figure out our stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's and then I got some cool tours and whatever. So I'm able to kind of like piece a good comedy life together just by like
and it helps
hustling.
not having kids because
suck all that money. I mean, my dogs are sucking quite a bit of it.
I mean, gotta keep a roof over your head and bread in your mouth, right? I mean, like it's
yeah. I mean, and I have a woman that's like independent, where she's not expecting me to be that 1950s
she's in the same
guy.
Weird game that we're in,
not to be that 1950s like you got to do everything and pay all the bills, and I'm pumping out babies. So I don't have that for sure. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure. I actually I remember hearing on not Opie.
I think you're gonna say Oprah.
Oprah. Yeah,
I remember Oprah inspired me.
For a loop. I was listening to Tony Robbins the other day.
He's not bad. I don't shit on Tony.
Better than Oprah. Better than Oprah. No, but I remember hearing on an episode of Ron and Fez. I was listening on internet radio.
Gosh. Yeah, you're going back.
Patrice O'Neal was on. Who's a fucking legend. I'm sure you knew him, I'm jealous.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I've heard that too. He can be a little tough on young comics.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was a genius. I felt like he finally figured it out. Like he was a guy that but he self-sabotaged himself a lot.
Oh yeah, he burned the bridges.
He burned the bridges. He was mean to like waitresses and stuff
that's crazy.
During a show and don't tip her, she's a bitch or whatever. Like stuff like that. Like he
Pettiness,
it was unnecessary stuff.
Yeah.
But his last special was incredible.
The Elephant Room was incredible. Yeah.
And he would have been that guy.
Oh, I think he would have been the biggest podcast alive today. He
would have been.
Yeah.
But it's like, he liked, he liked, fruit punch and pizza, and so
he lost a foot and then died. No, but
Patrice is a great comic. I don't want somebody coming after me.
Yeah, he's one of the best. Yeah.
His fans are psycho. Yeah. So I knew Patrice. I actually put him up. He had a half hour coming up, and it was him and Bill Burr. They were doing half-hour comedy specials in Manhattan, and I used to run the Boston Comedy Club.
You ran the
last couple
Boston?
years.
No shit.
Yeah, the last couple years, and so he had a special coming up, and I let him. He ran his special. It was just me and like a couple of dudes, comics. And I gave him a couple of notes on that special. So that's how I knew Patrice. So I just want everybody to be like, don't be coming at me about losing his toe or whatever.
Yeah, he knew him personally, guys. Yeah.
I gave him tags, so relax. And I put him up when nobody else would because he was banned from every club.
Right. He had he didn't go to Scotland for a few years to clean up his image.
He got banned from the cellar. He got banned from everywhere. So,
but he said on this radio interview, he's like, look, I don't have to be everyone's favorite comic. Like I do. Every night every weekend I'm in a different club in the country. What are they, 250 seats, 300 seats?
Yeah.
What are they, 250, 300 million people in the country?
Yeah.
It's like if I do enough clubs and I can get one person in those seats, in those seats to say, I love that guy, I'll spend $10 on him a year.
Yeah.
If I do enough places around the country, that's 300 million people. That's $10 million a year coming to me. It's like when you break it down like that. So like you were talking about the vice principal money.
Yeah.
It's like if I do 40 weekends a year, can I make between $2,000 and $3,000 a weekend? That's between $100,000 and $120,000 a year.
Yeah, but
that's a living way. Like if you break it down into those chunks, you're like, all right, I can live on that. Like, and once you can find enough money to like live comfortably in a 1-bedroom apartment, it's all gravy after that.
Yeah, Patrice is more like senator money, but it was still like
but I'm saying if you just chop it down into those little steps.
Well, or you just like you keep marching towards a bigger goal, and that's why I'm not
saying that's all I want.
I'm
saying is
that's why I'm in LA.
Yeah, if you get there, then you can survive. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. But LA, that's what I like about LA, because we aim a little higher out here.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then the relationships are everything, because out here it's like I'm friends with a guy who's in charge over at Warner Brothers and whatever. Oh, wow. I wouldn't have had anything like that if I'd been stayed in New York.
Yeah.
So it's like those relationships you keep accumulating and figuring out or whatever. And I just think you got to be happy with the way things are going, be grateful for it, and then always kind of have something that
working on
something big, something big. Yeah, because if you get a meeting, let's say somebody saw you at a club and you just crushed it, and you get off stage, well, hey, come in for a meeting, and then you come in for a meeting like, so what are you working on? And you don't have like 3 pilots, like it's just you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, and I've earlier to what you said about how comics is a little bit of community. Yeah. Most of the opportunities starting out come from other comics.
Everything.
Everything. So
every TV thing I got.
There was no manager who saw me as I started in Boston.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I saw you at the fucking Ding Ho. Do you want to fucking pilot? No. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
I mean, sometimes you'll get something like I always tell people, festivals are pretty good sometimes because you might get somebody to see you or whatever. But everything I got, first TV thing I got was Mike DiStefano, late great Mike, and he got me on the Showtime thing. Nice. And then Pete Holmes used to bark for me. He got me on Crashing. It's like I was opening for TJ in Salt Lake, so I got the dry bar thing, like bam, like everything. I can always 6 degree back to a comic. Like everything is like, we all take care of each other at some point, and that's why you got to have good comedy friends.
Yeah,
and you got to be good at the same time.
Yeah, so you don't want to show up with
but I've seen that happen.
Hand. Oh yeah,
dude, I've seen guys that are real close to big comics, and then they get an opportunity because of that big comic, and then they're not ready, and then
fuck it up.
Yeah, they screw it up, and then they can't get, they can't figure out why they're not getting ahead, and it's like because you weren't ready.
Early on, I've told people, hey, you want to do a half? I don't have an half hour. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm not going to be the fucking guy. I'm not going to blow my one opportunity.
I mean,
call me in a month.
There are times.
Oh yeah, certain things you would do.
Well, there's time. Well, that's a good topic right there, because it's like there are times when you got to go for something you're not as ready as you want to be, or as you want to be.
Yeah.
Like you got to, and sometimes
but you still
doing
might be
it.
Prepared. I mean,
but doing it sometimes can make it. Because I remember the first time I headlined, I didn't have the time, but I wanted to headline.
Yeah.
And so I was on stage and I was sweating and I was doing too much crowd work and I was like, whatever. And that first show it wasn't very good, but the second one was better. And by the end of the weekend, I figured it out.
Yes.
And so, but if I had just been scared and not done it at all, I would have never got to that last show, which,
I mean, you have to spread your wings a little bit and stretch.
Yeah.
But you also don't but you that's the key. It's like figuring out like, all right, I can stretch for this one, but like, all right, this is just setting me up for failure. Like certain things, like this is not like I don't do this. Like if someone's like, hey, you want to do a dry bar? Nope.
You could.
You think I could?
You think I'm that comic, and then I opened for Nate and I did the dry bar. Like you can do it.
Yeah.
You just have to put the work in.
Yeah, that's true.
I could sit down with you and we could do it. I could write out with your material. I could write you out a dry bar in 20 minutes.
See, this guy's the best.
Okay.
That's how much. I can write your whole act in 20 minutes. Wow.
We got to take out the fisting jokes. We got to take out
Oh man, I just lost 15 minutes right there. Holy shit!
We got to take out ass licking.
My closer and opener.
Ass licking. We got to take that out. And then, all right, we got 6 minutes. This is what we're going to do with this 6.
Expand it.
Yeah, we're going to stretch it out. But that's the thing. But that is kind of ultimately kind of how you do it.
You're right.
You just kind of figure out what, because I have shows, man. Like I've been doing some clean shows lately, and it's like they're longer sets, and it's like, I just have to and at one time I got in trouble. I do these shows in California, and they're like, you have to be clean or whatever. And it's just like I did it in Arizona, and I got a little non-PC and started kind of pushing them a little bit with religion and stuff. And I got in trouble.
Yeah, and religion can be tough.
I got in trouble
on stage. Unless you're fucking Jon Stewart or Bill Maher, leave it alone.
And I did some joke about it's tough being Muslim. It's like they got to pray 5 times a day. When I pray 5 times a day is when I forget to pull out. Something like that. It was like, and everybody got mad.
That's a great bit.
Yeah.
That's a great bit.
And everybody was like, Yeah. So it's like, but I figured it out after a uncomfortable thing, and then I made it better and better. But it's like I think we all got it in us.
Yeah.
It's like, but be careful of those first instincts.
That self-defeating voice.
Because it's like, you got to you got to put the work in.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say do it tomorrow. But I think
it takes some time, write some jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm starting to run a show that's a clean show in Hollywood or whatever. I'd love to have you on it, and it's like I'll give you a month to figure it out. And it's like, but that's the thing, you got to put the work in. And just figure it out. And just because you got stuff, I'm sure you got stuff about growing up as a kid. Oh, yeah. Family.
Dude, I had, there was one show. This is the first year I was on the road with Jeff, going back a little ways. We were in Northern California, I won't say where. And the club had been taken over by new ownership. And the person that ran the club was a real battle axe. Okay. And they were giving Jeff a hard time, and I was just up there doing guest sets because I was like, "Hey, come up, hang out for a week." I'm like, because I have buddies in San Francisco. I was like, "I'll fucking cruise up." Let's do some guest spots, hang out. Yeah, I'll bring friends out. Yeah. And she's like, "Hey, he can't go on." I was like, He's got fucking 40 people out there. The kid that paid to see him, he's doing 10 minutes. Fucking, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So he fought for me. He was like, "Hey, can you do me literally 30 seconds before I go?" He says, "Hey man, try to work as clean as you can so this person can't say shit." I'm like, "Oh." And I got through it. I was like, oh fuck! I'm like flipping through a notebook. I'm like, all right, this is the, and it wasn't my best set, but I got the laughs. It was fun. No one knew that that I threw that together in 5 minutes before.
They couldn't complain about you being and that's the thing. That's you rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
And I think
just stop saying fuck, Randy.
That's
half my problem.
Working with Nate has been interesting because I feel like you just see the possibilities of like.
Has he always been clean?
Yeah. from day one.
Was that like his
his upbringing was a little different than ours. Probably did. His
still a human being.
Human being, but. Dad was a magician.
Yeah, I heard.
Dad was a Christian. Mom's a Christian.
A Christian magician?
Yeah, in Tennessee.
Okay.
That's different than New York Catholic.
Yeah.
It's different than Texas.
Sinners. That's what New York Catholic
Texas, Dad had a biker bar. Like, that's a different...
Your dad had a biker bar?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
There's a different...
Yeah.
It's a different thing. And so he's kind of... His mentality is kind of... And to be honest with you, he always says, it's like, I just never want to say anything that would offend my parents. Okay. And so that was actually important to him. And then, so he was always clean. But you see... But what's great about him is, like, anybody can go to his show.
Yeah.
It's like you can bring all...
that's why it's one of the biggest conferences in the world.
You can bring your kids. You can bring Nana. And so seeing the possibilities of that is pretty cool. And then when I did the dry bar, I saw the possibilities of that, where it's just like, just do a set where everybody can enjoy, and then it gets all these hits. People enjoy it. They have a fan base, whatever. Yeah. So it's like, I think it's like it just broadens you. And I think every comic should have a tool belt. Yeah. But sometimes you have to be edgy. You got a late show, they're rowdy, whatever. You got to pop them in the mouth.
Take control of the room.
Yeah, you got to pop them in the mouth. I'm not clean all the time, but I'm leaning towards it, but an edgy clean.
Yeah, I didn't know if he like if that was like a business strategy or that's just how he thinks.
No, it's how he thinks and it's how he wants to be presented. Okay. So it's like that's just what he does. Yeah. He wants. That's what he wants to put out.
And you know what? I doing that in New York. And still killing.
It's impressive.
Like, really sharpen that blade. But to be that heavy of a killer.
And I'll say this, and he'll agree with you. Killing is a pretty strong word for early Nate work.
Well, not early, but like to make it through and like.
But what he killed at was the late nights. And that's what kind of got him because he didn't care about the comedy club audience as much as he was concerned about the broad audience of television.
Yeah, but it wasn't he wasn't past the cellar. Like he was good at.
He wasn't past the cellar for a really long time. He had to do like 12 Conans before they even looked at him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He had a hard road with some of those places.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I was going to say, like to develop that kind of act in a city.
I passed the cellar before he did.
That's it. But to develop that act in a city that's known for fucking, for being aggressive is quite the accomplishment.
The cellar was rough on a lot of us, but I feel like him particularly. But I feel but he obviously
he rose above it. Clearly.
Yeah, you're hosting Saturday Night Live. You're like, all right, see you later, everybody. But it's, it's like,
I have a 20,000 seater this weekend. Bye.
Yeah, I'm not gonna care if the funny bone doesn't email me back. In Omaha or whatever, you know what I mean? Like you get to a point where you're like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm beyond that now.
Yeah, we're doing private jets and tour buses, so we're like, all right, dude. Yeah. So I get to do it half the year. I get to like flip everybody off. He does it his entire year, so it's kind of fun.
So we don't have to get too personal, but what is it like to be married to a comic or to be with another comic?
Okay, yeah, we've been.
I don't know what your status is, but you've been together for a while.
Well, we're engaged. Okay. But here's the joke I have with the engaged thing. It's just like, first of all, it's just like nobody's in charge, because it's two comics.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how does a relationship work with two irresponsible people?
That's the thing is, we end every fight with, "Hey, I'm going to use that." So we fight over who gets the joke.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then we're going to get married. We technically we're engaged, but every time we plan a wedding, somebody gets a gig. So it's like I would get married, but
Saturday's book, babe.
I got that crabs, Al's Crab Shack in Pensacola. But and then she's like, "Who books that?" But it's but I like it because I feel like it's like somebody gets it that you're with. So we've been together 18 years.
Wow,
which is like 100 years in comic
Holy
years.
Holy shit! I mean, it's 100 years in anyone's life nowadays.
Yeah. So 18. We're coming up on 18. We're going to Vegas, celebrating everything. So it's gonna be fun. Going to Hellstorm concert and stuff. Nice. So she loves that female rock. But
feminism rock.
Feminism rock. We don't need men. But yeah, it's like I don't have to tell her hey, I'm going to go do a free spot and I got to drive an hour and it's a backyard and a birthday party and I'm going to just do this because I just need to get up.
Yeah, I'm working on
I don't
this
have to tell her. I don't have to explain what that is. But if I'm dating some girl that's not in comedy, that's going to be kind of a red flag of what's this guy doing with his life.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's the thing. But we do have to alternate. We can't bomb on the same night. You know what I mean? Like,
that I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
you
like,
both come home from 2 separate days. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, what? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, so you gotta
we gotta
alternate.
Back to Texas
yeah,
now.
we gotta alternate. Yeah, or Maine. She's from Maine. I'd rather move to Maine than Texas.
I mean, she might be a bigger hick than you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. She really is. To be honest with you, I'm more metropolitan Dallas, but she's like, they didn't have stoplights in her town.
Oh no.
But but I enjoy it.
Because I just wonder, like the dynamic.
But we've had to work on it. Like because it's like we don't want to be the comedy couple, because I see a lot of people do that, and there's guys that are good at it.
You guys are not. I didn't know you guys were fucking together.
But we want
it's like a year to you moving here.
And we want it that way, because we're not like something like Rich and Bonnie and like all these people.
Yeah.
There's guys that do it well, and it's like it's like
Bert
it's their thing.
Tom and
and it's their thing, and that's great, and they're successful at it and whatever. But we just like, we're going on tour, we're doing a thing, we're flying, we're driving from Maine, or driving from LA to Maine, and for the holidays, and we're going in November, and then we're gonna hit a bunch of clubs and theaters along the way.
That's the dope part about it. Like, let's go cross country and do a whole series.
We're gonna co-headline. And so it's kind of our first tour together.
That'll be really fun, dude.
So it's gonna be fun. Yeah. I mean,
the dogs come with you.
2 dogs in the back.
They're opening.
Yeah. They're driving. They're driving, and
they're paying for it.
They're doing check spots.
Check spots.
Yeah, Lacey Jane, you're doing checks before you bring Pop up. But so stuff like that is great. So we're doing that, and so it's gonna be fun. But we've had to work on being together and not making people like, because I was kind of the older comic, and so sometimes it's like, people, oh, you're only dating him because of this, you get spots or whatever. So it's like,
really?
We hit
also
it.
Older.
We
you
hit
don't
it
seem
for a
older,
while.
dude.
Yeah, but I mean older comic.
Okay,
like older than
in the
business.
You've been doing it longer,
in the business.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so we kept it quiet in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then now it's just like, if we're a comedy club, we're not gonna make out. We're just gonna be
well,
like,
I mean, why would you? It's a comedy club. It's disgusting.
But I've seen guys do that. I've seen comic couples do that. Comedy couples kind of go after, make it like holding hands and stuff. We just like, it's like, to me, it's
be
work.
Professional. Yeah.
It's work.
It's the office.
It's one of the reasons I don't drink. It's one of the reasons I don't whatever. It's like, it's a job.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to be drunk at my job, and I'm not going to be making out with my girlfriend at my job.
You also live with her. So I'll see you at home.
I'll see you at home.
Yeah, I know where you live.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll pass out at some point. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. It's a joke. She's always awake. She has the hearing of a wolf. I can't do anything.
I love that, dude. All right, dude. So we're coming up the end here. I like to do the news at the end.
Speaking of a wolf,
but yeah, there you go. But I picked the news. It's nothing serious. Just get your reactions.
Oh, whatever. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay.
I'm never good at this stuff, but let's.
I'm never good at this stuff. I just like to inform the comics and the world.
What do you got? What do you got?
Important to me.
Let's go.
So we were talking about cocaine before the show.
I know a lot about cocaine. So
yeah,
let's go.
Cocaine and sharks. Sharks off Rio de Janeiro's coast have tested positive for cocaine, marking the first instance of drugs being detected in the wild shark population. Researchers from the Oswaldo Cruz Foundation in Brazil detected cocaine in the liver and muscle tissue of 13 Brazilian sharp-nosed sharks. This marks the first time cocaine has been found in free-ranging sharks. The contamination is attributed to sewage discharges from human drug use and illegal laboratories. Dude, I mean, they made the fucking Cocaine Bear movie.
Oh yeah.
What I mean, there's got to be a writer's room throwing the script together right now.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Seriously, I'll call you tomorrow.
Just mix up Sharknado and Scarface.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's the same concept, because it's like most of the Cubans and people, whatever, they drop the drugs down at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Somehow, the shark got into
boy
it.
Comes up.
It's like, and it's like a shark on cocaine. That's genius.
Dude, that's...
Combine those cartel submarines. So
yeah.
In the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Keep the budget low.
I wonder if it makes the
shark... You have more underwater kills, which is great.
Yeah. I wonder if it makes the shark more or less dangerous, because it suppresses appetite. Like if there's a really skinny shark,
and that shark can't get it up. So the population's down now because they can't get it up.
Dude, I saw somebody posted a clip on Reels from 2 weeks ago off the coast of Fort Lauderdale. Somebody dragged an 80-pound bale of coke out of the water.
Wow.
And they're like, "Oh, look at this." I'd be like, I wouldn't be showing anybody. I'd be fucking at night and come back. I mean, that's like fucking what is it? What's
people are
80 pounds? Yeah, it's like 40 kilos. What is it? Like 50,000 a kilo? It's like $800,000. I'm like, dude, I'm not showing anybody this. I'm burying it in the sand.
Well, that's the mentality now. People are like, "Look at me, I'm robbing a bank." You know, like people are so dumb. People get arrested like that.
They're live streaming the crimes they do.
They do. They do. There's like 10 of them this past year. People have done that.
It used to be stop snitching. Now you're ratting yourself out on Facebook Live. Fucking idiot.
It's true. People are
so
dumb.
goofy, dude.
All right, we're gonna get on that. We're gonna get on that shark movie.
Oh yeah, that's an easy one. That's an easy one.
You just can't call it cocaine. You got to think of another word. Think of another name, another word for cocaine.
Yeah,
so we don't rip off Cocaine Bear.
A million words.
Like snow shark.
Yeah, exactly. Bolivian marching powder shark.
Crack shark, shark crack. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Crack shark.
Crack shark.
It's like Leprechaun in the Hood. Just make it real fucked up.
White boys in the hood. White sharks in the hood.
I saw this. It says a study found that on average,
just Great White works.
Great White, yes, dude.
Let's write that movie.
Yes, Great White. Great White.
I'm sure somebody's gonna listen and take it off, but let's
Don't worry,
try
it's coming
let's
out
try.
in a week. We got a
Great
week.
White.
Yeah,
Great White. That's it.
Perfect, dude. See, that's why he's a fucking writer. That's why he's the man.
We're gonna try.
This one's great. A study found that on average, a woman's friendliness will be mistaken for sexual interest 3.5 times a year. The results have shown that both men and women find the opposite sex misinterprets their social signals. Women in the study answered that they've acted friendly towards a man about 3.5 times over the past year on average and had him interpret that as sexual interest. The men in the study also reported having been misinterpreted by the opposite sex in the same way, but far less often, only 1 time a year.
Wow. Okay.
So, question I have for you is, how has this happened to you? Like you thought, like, oh, she's interested.
Yeah, I'm a dude, but
Why do you think we read it so bad?
well, okay. Here's the deal. It's like this is my number one complaint. This is what my girl and I would talk about this all the time. I go, I don't care what you say to a dude. I go, you could tell him some embarrassing story, some graphic thing, but if you complain about me, to the dude, then that's the line that they think that they can cross.
Yep.
And so
they think the door's cracked. She ain't that happy with him. I can put my foot in there. Yeah.
If a woman is talking to me and she's kind of flirtatious, whatever, you could be flirty. But when you start to talk about your man or something, then I think that's the end. Yeah. So you can't be a woman and complain about your man and be friendly. Because if you're friendly and you never bring all you do is talk about how great your guy is, then I know that's you telling me that this is protected. Yep. You're not getting in. But if
I never thought of that.
But if you're being friendly with me and you say my boyfriend's a dick,
he's bugging me
he's
tonight.
boring, or like we haven't had sex in a week, or like you say something, anything like that, then I think it's an end.
That never
just
could
don't
be,
shit on your man if you don't want me to think.
Don't speak ill of the man.
Yeah, don't speak ill of the man. Because if you do, to me, that's worse than flirting.
Well, I mean, because that's the bridge. That's the bridge to it.
That's the bridge,
right? I mean, like
that is the bridge. And like Chris Rock's bit, all those like dick in the emergency box. But it's none of that is happening if she's saying good things about her dude.
Yeah.
It's like because most guys aren't going to be like, yeah, but he's not that great. Like there's a few of those guys.
Well, and that's actually a man thing too, because chopping down another man makes you look like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? So you would avoid
most guys, unless they really want the woman, and there's going to be a few of those kind of like guys
incels out there, weirdos.
Yeah. But most guys, if the girl's just like, "Hey, you look good today," oh, thanks, is like, and then she starts
my boyfriend's shit like that. He's got really big pecs. Like,
she starts saying good things about her boyfriend and like whatever. Then it's like, I know what this is.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just friendship. This is you pay me a compliment, not saying.
And I'm okay with that. Like I have a couple girlfriends, and it's like, and it's that are girlfriends that are girl, whatever. But it's like, it's always like we make sure that we talk about our significant others.
Yeah, and I feel like at least for me, when I've been in relationships, like I was almost married once. I feel like sleeping around is not the get off. It's like just knowing that other women still find me interesting. It's basically an ego stroke. Like, she wants to talk to me. I'm cool. I don't need to sleep with her. The fact that she finds me fascinating.
Yeah,
it's a total mental thing.
Oh, dude,
it's so much less, especially in my 40s. I can give a fuck. But she likes me. Like she's interested in me. Like that's cool. Like that's all I want.
Dude,
you want to hear my stupid stories?
Oh
Great.
yeah, dude, I get off like just being in a store. and the cute young girl doesn't call me sir. And I'm like, all right, man, I still got it, baby.
Yeah, you just want to feel relevant.
Yeah.
You want to think you could.
Yeah. You know, it's
humor
like,
me.
Yeah, it's like, but that is, I mean, that's how simple we are sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's why strip clubs exist, you know, because it's like, there's a couple.
They listen to your bullshit stories.
They'll let you be you.
Yeah.
And we are gawkers. We love to look at women.
Yeah, it's all visual.
And we love it.
It's all visual.
We love it.
Yeah.
It's like, and women get freaked out, and we all have to catch ourselves. And so, but it's like, that's why strip clubs exist, because we can just stare at girls as long as we want.
Yeah.
And you know, and throw money, whatever.
It's open late, and they'll listen to you.
Yeah.
It's therapy with tits.
And she doesn't talk. And so it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation.
Shut up.
When she starts to talk, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get another girl. Yeah.
All right, here's the last one.
Okay.
And this is, I don't know if you heard about this fucking thing going on the internet. Mike, no, you might have seen this. Men are raw dogging it on flights. And here's what that means. Raw dogging is... Yeah. So listen to this.
You're going to be kicked off the Bragazzi show.
No. This
Stupid term for a safe thing.
Okay.
This is the New York Post, which is obviously
Okay.
a classic paper. I'm sure you've read it for free on the subway.
I was in it twice. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, nice. Raw dogging has become the buzziest travel trend of the summer. So apparently these guys are getting on a plane, and they're sitting in their seat. They only watch the in-flight map during the trip. No music, no streaming, no snacking, no sleep, no bathroom breaks. You just sit and watch the tracker and stay awake. And guys are apparently fucking doing it everywhere. Some guy's bragging about doing a New York to San Francisco flight. One guy did a fucking flight from like Paris to LA, 15 hours. And I'm like, what are they trying to prove?
Yeah,
Raw dogging a flight. How about you dome up next time you have sex? How about you go the opposite direction? Stop spreading chlamydia.
Yeah, I had a stepdad that was like, I think he might have been on the spectrum, but all he watched was the Weather Channel. Like, that's all he watched. I mean, 24 hours a day. Like, anytime he was...
Hey, man, you have to know what the weather's like, in Spain.
Anytime he was awake. I mean, it was all 24. I mean, seriously, he would never get off. So I think there is a gene, like, there are guys that do that where they just, like, they can zone in on that and it's entertaining to them. But yeah, I mean,
no, but it's kind of become like an internet challenge thing. Like, let's see how miserable I can make myself for a flight. I mean, it's like, bro, flights are miserable already. Like, why would you make it harder?
Yeah, I don't need to. I can't. My ADD kicks in too hard. Like, bro. And I can't set my thoughts. No. I need to be distracted.
No, that's very bad for my mental health. Thinking my thoughts is the worst I can do for my mental health.
The worst is when, like, your phone, like, the USB doesn't work, and then sometimes the screen doesn't work, and then there's that alone. You're just with no map, nothing. But yeah, I gotta, I can play poker or something, but I gotta do something.
I go audiobooks and sleep. I got big into Audible.
I'll do movies once in a while.
Yeah, well, for longer flights, it's a thing.
But
yeah, but the idea of just staring at the back of the fucking seat in front of you, like, and doing it to like brag to your friends on the internet. It's like, also, how the fuck is anyone going to prove that?
Why does anybody care? Like, why is that even a story? Why is that even a thing?
Because, hey, guess what? I did nothing. We should write a story about that. We should write a whole article. 1,000 words on you doing nothing.
Yeah, but that's that's our culture. It's like that's who we are. We get praised for doing nothing.
Yeah, I want to bring back the fucking, remember the crate challenge when those people were walking up over the pyramid of crates and breaking their ass?
I think so. Yeah,
that's the one challenge I want to bring back because people are ruining themselves on it.
Yeah,
the ice bucket challenge was lame. I remember that one Drake song where people were dancing outside of their moving car. That was stupid.
Yeah,
eating Tide Pods.
But you know what's harder? This is what these kids don't know. It's like you act like that's a hard thing to do, to look at a map while you fly. Try being like a 6-year-old on a plane with your dad chain smoking.
Like we grew up.
And when there's like 4 other dudes chain smoking, and you're trying not to get emphysema before you land in Orlando.
Oh yeah, there's the milk crate challenge.
Is that what this is?
Yeah, no, the milk crate challenge.
Okay.
But I said that to somebody recently. That's my niece and nephew. I was back east hanging out with family. And, we were like in North Carolina doing like a little family vacation, hanging out. It was raining, so we couldn't go in the pool. I'm like, oh, we're bored. And I'm like, wow, I haven't heard a kid say they're bored in 30 years. I was bored all the fucking time as a kid.
I wasn't. Just picked up your mongoose and went to the woods.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Or just a stick in the dirt. But I'm saying, like now, like anytime you have a moment of of like a pause. Like if you're like waiting in line, you're looking at your phone. You know, like there was a lot of filler time back when I was growing up. Like you just on the train, you just sit there. You know, like now you're constantly entertained. You know.
Yeah. Are you funny? Or you like told you?
That's what I'm saying. You have to create games for yourself to not be bored. But like now, when boredom creeps in, you immediately grab the phone. Most people, especially young people.
I don't even know what boredom is. Like when I have a moment of silence.
Oh no! Now I like boredom.
Well, a moment of silence, or like just times where it's quiet because everything is so loud right now. Yeah. So it's like the internet's loud, the TV's.
I've been doing a lot of hiking lately, getting back into that.
Politics are loud. But that's the thing. You hike, you go to the gym, whatever. Anything that's gonna kind of get the blood pumping and stuff. It's gonna make you feel better. But I don't think there's no reason to be bored. And pick up a freaking book.
Yes. Yeah. Fucking read, you ingrate.
Yeah. I read like all the classics. Like I've read books. I'm not saying I'm a scholar by any means, but I read, Now it's like I've gotten to the point, my ADD or whatever, I like short stories because I can finish them before I go to bed or whatever. So it's like I'm a big fan of short stories, but there's so many things you can do. And the phone is like, it just makes makes it worse.
But it's weird that like people are like, they're on a plane saying they're doing nothing and they post about doing nothing. They want credit for doing nothing.
Yeah.
But it's like, but also how do you prove it? Like if you took a photo of yourself on the plane and then right after that you could have been fucking,
It's this content attention. You know? It's like people want to and that's the thing. It's actually kind of genius because look at them. They're getting more hits than our stand-up clips.
I'm talking about this shit. I'm talking about this shit on the podcast.
And they're getting all the hits.
Yeah, they got me.
We had a real nice interview. We're not going to get any hits. They're going to get all the hits.
So we got 12 million followers off this fucking post.
I think, that's your next one. You just be talking to a dude while you guys look at a map. That'll be your next interview.
The next podcast is me and a guy staring at a map for half an hour. No words.
No words. You would probably, you'd probably get 1 million hits off that.
Where can the people find you, Dustin?
I only like Instagram. I think
I'm with you.
That's Instagram's the only one. It's like if you want to get on Facebook and troll me like my aunt does about my political views, but at Dustin_Chafin, Instagram and website. I guess you can go to. It needs some work, but DustinChafin.com.
Yeah, find out where he's performing. Go see him. He's
go to my link
great.
tree.
Very funny.
I'll be in the city. I got some great stuff coming up. I'm doing the Kookaburra Lounge. We got some shows at September 26th. I got a big show. It's called Keeping Clean. It's edgy comics being cleaner.
I'll go check it out.
And then it's going to be, we're giving to like Miriam House, which is kind of a sober house for women and small children and stuff. So we're kind of giving back to the community.
Oh, nice.
It's a play off of clean, But so come on, check me out. This is fun. Thanks, buddy.
Glad you finally got to get this done, man.
Yeah, this is great.
Coming on, brother.
It's only been about 3 years when we got here.
I know, right? Love you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, follow me at Randy Villar. Follow the podcast at Ready Set Blow Podcast. All the shit I should say at the beginning of the show, but I don't. Love you guys. Peace.
Peace. That was great.